Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Sophie. I have a doctorate in literature, which means I get way too emotionally invested in the shows that we're watching. So if that sounds like something you will enjoy, why don't you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video? Today, we're reacting to episode 21 of Monster. Last episode, we got introduced to an old English couple that were vacationing in Germany, or at least we thought they were. He was a retired police detective who suspected that there was more to Tenma than meets the eye, and then chose not to turn Tenma in essentially because he understood that Tenma is actually a good person. And we got revealed as well that their son actually killed a man, and that's why they're in Germany visiting. But it was a really sweet episode in terms of understanding how you can look at things from a different perspective and move forward. The son isn't necessarily a monster, but they have to still hold him accountable for what he's done, for the crime that he's committed. But at the same time, it's about finding a new way to move together towards a future with his wife and his son. It's about not only ever seeing his son as this failure in their eyes because they weren't able to stop him from committing a crime. And I think it was harder for him because he has been a police detective, knowing that your son is capable of doing that despite being a witness to your career and knows what you do for a living, but as well that he didn't figure it out, that he never suspected that his son would grow up to kill someone. And that's just, again, referencing the fact that you can't predict these things. They happen. You couldn't know from looking at someone what they're capable of, that they'd be a monster or capable of killing someone. Just like Tenma couldn't have predicted when looking at Johan that Johan could have gone on to kill someone. That was sort of the takeaway message of that episode, is that you can't judge a book by its cover, but at the same time, you also need to start looking at the positives in the world too. If you only look at people as bad, then you're only ever going to see the bad. You're going to be ignorant to the good that they exhibit and the good that the world has to offer. And that's kind of a warning to Temba. If he continues to go down a path where he only sees the bad, he's going to bring more misery and pain upon himself rather than trying to look at the positive lessons as well from his journey of all the people that he's helped, all the people that have helped him in turn, the value and the importance of life. And also, in a sense, reassurance to Temba. Not that I think Temba will be reassured yet. I think this is a journey of acceptance that he really isn't to blame for saving Johan, and that saving Johan wasn't a bad thing. And I know people are going to maybe come for me over that, but when I'm saying it's not a bad thing, it's because Temma would be going against his core philosophy. He would be going against the creed of what it means to be a doctor, tenets he holds dearly, which is to value human life equally. To let someone die would go against that, even if they're a horrible person, even if they're a monster. You are going against your core beliefs, and Temma would be going against his core beliefs. So he cannot blame himself for what Johan grew up to continue doing, because he'd already been doing that before he met Temba. As Anna said to him, you are not to blame because he was already doing this. So you couldn't have known. When you looked at this little boy, you didn't know. You just saw a little boy in need of help. And that's sort of what he needs to come to terms with. And I know it's sort of him still wrestling with that. If I knew then what I know now, would I have still killed it? No, I don't think he would. And I think this mission to kill him, to put things right, is going to come to an end where he realizes that he has nothing to put right. He's not to blame. But at the same time, he also can't take a human life because it's not that easy. It's not easy to kill someone. And that's sort of the core philosophy of the show, is if you want to kill a monster, you have to be a monster. And Temba isn't a monster, but he would have to become one. He would have to give himself to that darker aspect of his soul and carry the weight of it. And I don't think he will. Not because he couldn't carry it, but because I think deep down he might start to empathize with Johan once he knows more about Johan's background. Not forgive him, but empathize. I've said it before. I think if Johan dies, Johan's going to kill himself because he's clearly wrestling with what he's doing. And I think the fact that he's conscious that it's bad, but he can't help it, it's like a compulsion, gives it sort of more realism that we have someone who's struggling with the burden of his actions. Again, doesn't make him forgivable doesn't mean we just ignore all the people he's killed. But I'm sure once we get more of his story, more of his context, we'll begin to empathize a little bit more as to why Johann became the way that he was. Because I believe that Johann is this way because of whoever's raised him before he took Anna and they crossed the border. So if Johann's this way, then what does that say for the parents that raised him? They're probably worse. So if Johann comes from that type of environment, of course he's going to grow up normalizing violence and maybe covering his tracks so that they can't find him again. Maybe that's what he's petrified of, is these parents tracking him down, maybe dragging him back, and he doesn't want to. So he's trying to conceal where he is, conceal his true identity. Because why does he keep switching identities? It's not because he's fearful that he'll get caught. He's hiding for a reason. He's covering his trail for a reason. And from what we can gather, it sounds like he has found a family. He has settled with them, a family that can offer him a sense of security, and he hasn't left and he hasn't harmed them, which is making it seem like he is just covering his tracks out of fear that somebody is going to find him. That doesn't justify it, but it does make you question, who is he running from? Why is he running from them? And if he is scared of these people enough to commit murder, then what does it say about what those people are capable of? Either way, let's get into episode 21 and see where this episode takes us, because it'll either be with Tenma and Dita, or it'll be with Anna, or it will likely be with Lunge and Ava, because we haven't seen them for a couple of episodes, so we may end up going back because it likes to jump between. So it gives us like context into all the characters.
バーバラ、
Niece!
モスコミュールはいかがかな。フリッツ、君にはジュースがあるぞ。
フリッツ、お父さんにありがとうわ。ありがとう、おじさん。
Oh, he's like, you're not my real dad.
いきなりこんな素敵な家に住めて、こんな優しい旦那様が美味しいカクテルまで作ってくれるんですもの。
ん？なあ君、何か感じないかい？
え？
隣の家だよ。
It was like
あの2
a
階の窓
weird
から
glint.
時々
Was it like
誰
a
かに見ら
camera
れているよ
flash or
うな。
something?
やだ、お隣は空き家でしょ。20年ほど前、あるご夫婦が惨殺されて、それ
Oh,
以
it's
来あの家に
haunted.
は幽霊が出るらしいって。どうしたの、ミハエル？
ああ。
まさかあなたまでそ
Maybe
んな話
Tenma's in
信
it
じるんじゃ
because
ない
if
でしょう
somebody
ね。
was slaughtered 20 years ago,
そんなことな
he
い
could
よ。
be in the house investigating.
お出かけで。
It's
あ
his
あ。
silhouette or
車出します。
Dita's.
ああ、いやいい。たまには親子水入らずで出かけようと思うんだ。ボディーガードの必要もないだろう。
頑張ってください。お父さん。
I hope this doesn't have a negative impact because he's like, oh, we won't really need a bodyguard.
まずドクター・テンマ。警察はフォルトナー夫妻殺人事件の容疑者として彼を追っています。しかし消息はつかめてません。警察に召喚された時、テンマはこんなことを言ってます。10年前彼が命を助けた少年がアイスラー記念病院の院
It
長
will be
以下3名
interesting
を殺
if
害
he
して逃
believes
亡。
Tenma though.
少年の名はヨハン。その後ヨハンは
Because
成
everyone's
人して
against
姿を
Tenma, so what
現
if
し、
he's
目の前
not?
でまた殺人を犯したと。次にニナ・フォルトが殺された夫妻の娘ですが、彼女も未だに行方不明です。メスナー氏です。足跡をたどってフランクフルトまで行ってきました。
今、彼は
亡くなっていました。
Oh, he
2ヶ
died.
月ほど前にめった刺しでした。麻薬をめぐるごたごたに巻き込まれたということでした。
Was it, or was it Johann tying up loose ends? Because he also gave too much information away to Anna that led her to the baby. So, I mean, convenient timing.
この冬、フランクフルトでトルコ人が焼き討ち事件があったでしょう。その首謀者が赤ん坊だという噂なんです。そして事件はある東洋人が火を消し止めて防いだ。その東洋人の名前が天馬。もしそれがドクター天馬だとして。
Oh, his eyes are wavering as if out of respect and admiration.
10年前、ドクター天馬が手術で命を救った少年の名は
Johann.
ヨハン。
赤ん坊が組織のリーダーに祭り上げようとした
They
青年
believe
の名
Tenma.
も
You can see it. All the
Johan
evidence that they're gathering in support of Tenma's theory. I worry something's going to happen to him, though. Because it's like, I want to do more family outings without a bodyguard. Are we seeing the Fortners? Is it? It is the Fortners. It's not the couple that would have died in that house, unless that's the Fortners' house, but it's not, because this is France. And I feel that burden of responsibility.
あの時、一本の電話がかかってくるまで、俺の人生は負けっぱなしだった。刑事だった俺は、相棒のメスナーと押収した麻薬の横流しに手を染めていた。電話の主は全てを知っていた。もし黙っていてほしいなら、ある夫
Oh,
婦を
wait, it
殺
was
せと
him that killed the
ハイ
couple.
デル
Oh
ベ
my
ルク
god,
の
I
フォ
did
ルトナー
not
夫妻。殺せば
click.
俺たちは助かる。
Oh my god, I didn't click that it was the same guy.
新聞記者か何かがいたが、俺とメスナーは3人とも殺した。その後、多額の金が振り込まれた。
Oh my god, it's been so many episodes since that happened that I just completely didn't click that it was the same guy from the earlier episodes, because we didn't know what happened to him. We just knew that like he'd retired, but we didn't know where he'd gone, but now we know where he is. Yikes. And we also know what Johan had on them to get them to collude with his plan. They were selling illicit drugs that they were confiscating as policemen, and Johan somehow knew this. Where does Johan get all this information? Whoever he is affiliated with family-wise must be very connected, very powerful, for him to feel a sense of security in that like he can monitor everyone's presence. Also hasn't had to kill them to hide his presence. So clearly they offer him the opportunity to surveil figures. Like maybe it's like a governmental, like a high governmental position this family is in, because the fact that he can, oh look at his little face. Oh, he's so precious. The fact that he can get this information on these two police officers, he had the information about that serial killer's abusive background. How is he getting this information is the question. But I'm so glad that that kind of clarified the mystery of why the two police detectives killed the Fortners and why they were working with Johan is because Johan was blackmailing them. I think I did say, is he blackmailing them? Does he have something on them? But it's the bigger mystery of how does he have the information? Where is he getting the information from? But it also now makes complete and utter sense why he freaked out at seeing the images of the Fortners in the window. Because I was like, why is he freaking out? He's never met the Fortners. Why is he getting so like stressed about it? Because he killed them. So he's literally being haunted by the memory of killing these innocent people to save his own skin, as you would be. And it should have clicked when he said, oh, how is he doing? So he obviously knew him, but with them being like police detectives, I just presumed that was normal. That like, oh, they all kind of know each other to some degree. So it looks like Mueller's gathering information on Johan. So even though he's no longer in the police, he's retired, he is still tracking Johan and what Johan's up to because he knows what he's capable of. So it looks like when he was meeting with that guy, it's maybe like a private detective that's like feeding him information about like Tenma and the case and everything, because again, he was like fully involved in it. And now I think there's probably the fear hearing the fact that Messner had been stabbed and it's been ruled like a drug related incident. I don't think that's clearly the case. I think Johan has had someone stab Messner to clear up a loose end, because Messner knows that Tam is telling the truth, but Messner was also the reason that Anna ended up in that mansion with the baby and all the others in the far right organization, and she was being used as bait for Johan, so I think he realized how dangerous it is to have Mesner alive, because Mesner can be used against him, especially because Mesner can't keep his mouth shut. And his sister was put in a very dangerous position, and that likely has also fueled his reasonings for getting rid of Mesner. But that makes me worried that he could end up being next, that we could see Johan taking him out, because again, he's another loose end. He's another person that could serve to bring about his downfall, especially the fact that we're now seeing that he is compiling this information. So I'm curious as to whether we'll see him die at Johan's hands, or whether he will be gathering this information to help Tenma and maybe try and ingratiate himself with Tenma. And no, I don't think so. I think if he reveals himself to Tenma, Tenma's gonna instantly be like, what the fuck, get away from me, I know what you've done. But yeah, I'm kind of annoyed I didn't catch that.
警察を辞めた俺をシンジケートが拾い上げた。しかもいきなりいいポストにつけてくれた。儲けた金は簡単に選択された。
そして今の奥さんと知り合い、足を洗った。
なぜあんな簡単に組織から抜けられたんだ？誰なんだ？あの時の電話の主は。あの時、あの多額の金を振り込んだのは、俺の人生を操っているのは誰なんだ？
Johan!
ロベルト、君には感謝しているよ。ずっと守ってくれて。
なら今の言って待ってくれませんかね。
え？
You know what would be the biggest twist is he's confessing all this to the bodyguard, so he obviously trusts him implicitly. What if the bodyguard's actually working for Johan, or gets turned by Johan and ends up being the reason that he dies? I don't know. I don't trust anyone in this show, that's the issue.
お父様に行ってきますわ、フリッツ。
無駄だよ。おもちゃのことしか頭にない。
行ってきます、お父さん。
Oh, no, this is bad for him. He said, bye, Dad. I think this is the last image he's going to have of them. Because he's on cloud nine. He's so happy. He's going to die. He's going to die.
ロベルト、探偵さんから連絡ないかい？もう来る時間なんだが。
He's going to die.
ロベルト。
Roberto's dead. No, that's the detective. The bodyguards.
ロベルト、探偵が大変だ。早く来てくれ。
In on it.
ロベルト。
Loose ends. Wait, no!
お前は。
Anna.
殺したフォルトナー夫妻の娘よ。
お前がやったのか。
No, she didn't do that.
その人をやったのはあなたのボディーガードのロベルトよ。
ロベルトが？
私、隣の家からすべて見てたわ。
そんなバカな。ロベルトは俺の
Ah,
信
so
頼できる友
she's
人
the one
だ。
that's been watching him.
お前こそ俺に復讐するために来たんだろうが。
He's not a trusted friend. He's been planted here. He's been planted by Johan. He's playing the long game.
このバッグは持っていくわ。あなたはここに残りたいならそうすればいい。信頼できる人間なんてものがあなたにいるならね。
She's trying to save you. I think he realizes that because she could have taken her revenge after what he did, but she didn't. Listen to her. Leave, because if you stay, you'll die. But then what about his wife and the little boy? Because they don't know that he's gone rogue. Yeah. Oh, okay.
早く車を出して。早く。
Oh, this got so tense. Okay, so there was definitely someone in the house, which ends up being Anna.
隣の家からずっと俺の様子を見ていたんだろ？俺をどうするつもりだ？
心
Information.
の底から憎んでる。殺してしまいたいほどね。
俺は脅されてやったんだ。
Doesn't matter. You still took the
あんたの
lives
両
of
親をやらなけれ
her
ば
parents.
麻薬の横流しをしていたことをバラすと。だから俺はメスナーと組んで仕方なく。
No, you did have a choice. You chose not to take responsibility for your own actions and kill innocent people for no reason.
仕方なかった。
You had
Come
every
inside.
choice.
車を止めなさい。
Which is what's angering her. He absolutely had a choice. And him saying he doesn't have a choice means he has
素
no
敵な人たちだっ
remorse.
た。本当に素敵な。
He believes that he's exempt from feeling guilt about the situation. It really ties back to Temba when Temba heard about the Turkish construction worker that had died when he was supposed to do his surgery and he got called to go and do the surgery of the opera singer. And he's like trying to absolve himself of the guilt by saying, I have no choice, I have no choice. And then the defining moment is he realizes that's not a viable excuse, that he does feel guilt and responsibility for that construction worker dying, that he should have stood up for what he believed in. He should have taken the repercussions that came with refusing to do the surgery on the opera singer and sticking with what he believed in, sticking with his gut. So we're seeing the difference already between someone like Muller and someone like Temba, where Temba did take responsibility and it was a defining moment that fundamentally changed him and led to him saving Johan because he realized that he did have a choice. He's not exempt. He's not guilt-free. And because of that, he strove to demonstrate through his actions that all lives are equal, that he should treat all lives as equal, versus Muller, who sat there with Anna, who saw the Faulkners as her parents and is straight up telling her, I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. He was going to tell my bosses that I was selling illegal drugs. I didn't have a choice, so I had to do it. No, you did have a choice. You could have taken responsibility for breaking the law. You could have taken the repercussions that came with breaking the law, but instead you chose to murder two innocent people, not two innocent people, sorry, correction, three innocent people to cover up your crimes, to cover up your illegal doings, and then wanted to pretend like that didn't happen, wanted to pretend that you are somehow the victim because you were being blackmailed. The victims are the people that you killed. So instead of actually doing the big boy thing and taking responsibility, you try and say that you had no choice. You try and shirk the guilt and the weight of their deaths by saying that it was forced upon you. Killing someone is a choice, and this was a choice. And I can understand absolutely why Anna is fucking furious because she's like, no choice. You had a choice. It's not like a gun was put to your head. It's not like it was a life or death situation. You would have been punished for selling the illegal drugs, but you would have still been alive. My parents would still have been alive. Mora would have still been alive. None of this would have happened. None of this pain, none of this suffering. So what do you mean you didn't have a choice?
私が本当の娘じゃないのに、父と母は
Loved you like you were because you were their
私のことを
daughter.
本当に、なのに、あなたみたいなクズに殺された。
She's not going to be able to pull the trigger because of that conversation with the hitman. She's not going to be able to not see him as a person even after everything he's done. Especially because she would be taking him from another child. She would be then responsible for another child suffering the loss of a parent. And she can't bring herself to do that. She'd be destroying a family like her own family was destroyed.
バーバラ、フリッツ。
何よ、何言ってるのよ。
But it seems so unfair that she should have to suffer the loss of
殺されるって
her
いうのは
parents and he gets to have a
こう
family
いう
and
こ
be
とだったの
happy.
か。フリッツがあの子が俺のことを初めて呼んでくれたんだ。お父さんってなくしたくない。なくしたくないものができたんだ。
デュッセルドルフ。
Taken full responsibility though for what you've done.
組織に入った時ボスに命令された。毎朝母親が子供を連れてその前を通った。俺にとってただ一つまともな日常との接点だった。おはよ
おはようございます。
あなた、あの
They
探
gave
偵に
him a
何を依
sense
頼
of
したの？
purpose, an
あんたと
idea of
天馬
what
の
the
行
future
方
could be.
そして警察時代の相棒だったメスナーの消息だがメスナーは死んでいた。殺されたらしい。
妙なことになってきたんですよ。
妙なこと？
ええ、メスナー氏はすでにジャンキー状態で組織のごたごたに巻き込まれる存
It's
在では
Johan.
なく、
I said it
も
was.
う一つ、犯人はフランクフルトの組織関係者ではなくて、デュ
Yeah,
ッセ
it's
ル
tying
ド
up
ルフ
loose
デュッセル
ends.
ドルフ。
And he was a loose end, which is why Roberto was out to kill him.
メスナーの件、犯人、ロベルト、誰だ？
The bodyguard. Don't answer it. Oh, what if it's his wife?
もしもし、
バッグを返してほしいんですが。
ロベルト
He's gonna threaten.
奥さんとフリッツは今、私のそば
Oh,
でくつろい
I
でますよ。
knew it.
なんだって、おい
早く戻った方がいいですよ。あなたの幸せな家に。
銃を貸してくれないか。
その銃至近距離でないと使えないわ。弾は4発しかないし。
十分だ。俺に死なれたら真相を警察に話してもらえなくなるからだろ。
そう、絶対に死んじゃダメ。私は隣の空き家からあなたを援護する。
She's such a fucking badass though, isn't she? Like, she's so fucking cool. She's like, I'll support you from next door. I wonder if they've taken all the papers out the bag, so it's just the bag, and then he's gonna
フリッ
shoot
ツ
the bodyguard.
この子ったらお父さんに釣りに連れて行ってもらうって聞かなくて。
バーバラ
He's like, I was told to hurry back.
ロベルト、ミハエルが帰ったわ。
ガラスが1枚割られてましてね。近所の子供のいた
Oh
ず
my
ら
god,
で
this
しょ
is so tense
何
because
も
his
心配
family
はい
is
りませ
here.
ん。
They're all gonna think he's gone mad.
死体はここにあった探偵の死体は。
何もなかったんですよ。
ロベルト、お前は何者なんだ。
結構これで本当に何もなかったことになります。
I wouldn't be trusting anything they said.
みんな
Oh my god, where is she? Was there somebody waiting for her here and they've taken her? Because he said with
美しい
this.
娘でしたね。
ニナをどうしたんだ。
丁重にもてなしています。ある方にとって大切なゲストです。
Johan.
ある方、何者なんだヨハンって。お前たち一体何者なんだ。
あなたは奥さんやフリッツと幸せに暮らしたい。
Then you should forget all about this, is essentially what they're saying. You're being given a chance to forget about this. Because technically, he not only gave them all the information from the detective, he also gave them Anna. No, they'll not kill her.
お幸せに。
But it's also convenient that he doesn't answer.
お父さん、いつ釣りに連れて行ってくれる？
ああ、明日晴れたらな。
And he's just gonna pretend it didn't happen.
もう亡霊は見えなくなったか。
That's so sad. There's really no repercussions for him.
ヨハンにはいつ会えるの？ヨハンに会わせてくれるって言うから。
Oh, so she did go.
確かに彼もあなたに会いたがっている。ミュンヘンで幸せに暮らしていますよ。
ミュンヘン。
本当にいい目をしている。
Wait, Tenma
実に
is
残念だ。
near Munich. Wait, he said this is truly unfortunate. Are they going to take out her eyes? As a way to bait Johan?
ドクターテンマか。
No, they're not going to kill Anna. Oh my god, it's the police detective, isn't it? It is. Oh my god. I feel like there's more to it because I don't feel like Johan would kill Anna. So maybe they're turning on Johan.
なんで来たの？
Because he couldn't have anything happen to you. Okay, I feel
これでも
better.
俺は元刑事だって。
Oh. No! I saw the hand twitching, but I didn't know if it was just like reflex. Did she kill him? She
もう
did.
すぐ家に着くわ。
明日フリッ
Oh
ツ
my
と
god, he's dying, isn't
釣
he?
りに行く約束してるんだ。
そう。
Oh,
いいな。
so she couldn't pull the trigger, which meant he got shot.
きっと晴れるわ。
Oh, that's so sad. So in the end, he did atone for what he did to the Fortners by saving Anna, because he could have just continued to live his life, and that's essentially what they were giving him, is the opportunity to continue to live with Barbara and Fritz without worrying about whatever happened, because they took care of the issue. But the fact that he went after them, he tracked them down, said, "I'm still a police detective," is because he couldn't bear the thought of Anna dying after everything he's already put her through, after killing the Fortners. He had to atone somehow by saving her life. But he also saved her from pulling the trigger, from taking a life as well, because I imagine the only reason she didn't pull it is because perhaps he pushed her hand away, or maybe she just panicked in the moment. But it's an implication that even in that situation, the hitman's words have resonated with her. She can't dehumanize people to the point of pulling the trigger, and she's not going to be able to do that with Johan. But that's so incredibly tragic, in the sense that I genuinely thought at first he wasn't going to have any redemption, but then, at the last minute, he comes in to save her. And I just have so many more questions, because this organization, they looked like they were working with Johan. They looked like they were on Johan's side, right? But now it looks like they're wanting to maybe bait Johan or hurt Johan by killing Anna, because everything Johan has done has been for his sister. So I 100% don't believe that Johan is in on whatever it is that they're doing, that they are like hell bent on harming Anna. And they said, "Oh, you have the same eyes as him. It's such a shame." And then he's leaving with the information about Johan, almost as if they want to use it to like blackmail Johan, because Johan's in Munich. So this is kind of implying that Johan is like well respected. We already know that he's got like a lot of charisma, and that it's been indicated that he's maybe found a prominent family that give him security, power, and influence in a way that he can continue to live there without taking them out. So they maybe want to use this information that Muller got from the detective as a way to blackmail Johan in turn. Maybe they're wanting to use it against Johan somehow. I'm not entirely sure, but I think them trying to kill Anna isn't what Johan wanted, but is a way to hurt him, is a way to get to him, because Anna is a vulnerability. I genuinely was like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? But I sensed it coming solely because him and Fritz were beginning to bond. They were beginning to establish a family relationship. And then I thought they were going to do the whole, oh, look, some people don't change perspective, but he has changed. I think the fact that he realized how much he's hurt Anna, and that he did have a choice. Part of him saving Anna is the realization that there's always a choice, that in being blackmailed, between having his illicit drug selling revealed or killing the Fortners, there was a choice, and he chose the wrong one. This time, he has a choice again of, you can forget about Anna and we'll clear everything up as if it never happened. You can go on and live the rest of your days with your family and just wipe your hands clean of it. Or you can try and find Anna and stop whatever might happen to her, because when he asked if she was going to be killed, they didn't say yes or no. They said, have a good life. Something along those lines, have a good life. So in that moment, he knew that it was either choosing to let Anna live or die. And he couldn't live with the consequence of letting her die, not after everything he's put her through, and not after making the wrong choice last time. And if this is the only way that he can somewhat atone for the harm that he's caused her, then he's going to risk his own life in the process. And he did. And yeah, we can't forgive him for what he's done, but he did an honorable thing in the end. He did the right thing in the end. And that's the point, is that, as we learned last episode, it's about looking at things from a different perspective. And I think it took him seeing Anna, seeing her rage when he said he didn't have a choice, that made him look at the situation from her view, this recognition that he did have a choice and he chose wrong. and this is the consequence. So he can't live with himself knowing he let an innocent girl like Anna die so that he can have a peaceful life. He can't look at his son and his wife without remembering her. He's already haunted by the images of the Faulkners, so he's not about to have her death on his conscience. Again, the previous episode ties in with the whole don't judge a book by its cover. If you only look for the bad, you'll never see the good. If we only look at the bad things that he's done, we'll not see the good thing that he's going to do. Again, doesn't make him forgivable, but he did the right thing when it mattered, when it counted. He's showing that he's open to change. He just unfortunately will never get the chance to prove that long term because he has died, but he died in the process of saving Anna. And that's truly the tragic thing. Another phenomenal episode. This is just getting better and better from episode to episode. I think the first 10 episodes are so slow that it feels a bit of a slog to get through them. Like, it's still interesting, but it is sort of hard to just motivate yourself to continue. But now that we're out of that, from episode 11 onwards, it's just really picked up. We've got more character depth. When it's reiterating the themes, it's doing so that has relevance to the next episode. It's not something that just feels almost pointless at the time because it takes 5 more episodes to get the inevitable payoff. Now everything is so tied into Johan, so tied into the investigation, into the case, that you're just kind of gripped into it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!